What's up, Taiwan? I'm Sanny Chi with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's military has ordered 5,000 more Kestrel rocket launchers for its arsenal. Taiwan's military also ordered 60 simulators to train soldiers how to fire the anti-tank rockets. The armed forces are preparing an influx of conscripts this year. It comes after the country extended mandatory service for Taiwanese men to 1 year. Taiwan's military is creating realistic combat conditions to train its new soldiers. Tiffany Wong reports.
Simulating war. New conscripts in Taiwan's military will now be experiencing the sights, sounds, and tensions of war through a new realistic training program. It's part of renewed initiatives to bolster Taiwan's combat readiness in response to growing military pressure by China.
在演练期间，采用射击机枪空包弹和数枚的 TNT 炸药，用来模拟战场上的真实环境，也在提升他战场的抗压性和心理素质。
The training will affect new conscripts born after 2005 beginning this year. They're the first cohort in over a decade to serve a 1-year mandatory service, up from the 4 months of service required since 2013. President Tsai Ing-wen announced the measures last year in order to step up Taiwan's defenses. Now, the Army's youngest conscripts will undergo 8 weeks of basic training before testing their skills on a battlefield obstacle course, meant to prepare them for the mental pressures of warfare.
枪声、炮声啊，或者是那个爆炸的声音等等啊，让他们实际有这样子的心理的体验。训练的时候可能有一些，实际上那个接近战场的一些这个训练，像射击的时候的那些行进训练啊，变换这个阵地啊等等。
Although it may be challenging, future Taiwanese conscripts say they hope the new, more intensive training will help them respond to situations quickly should war come.
炸弹在旁边先炸一下，就是不会受伤那一种，可能我们就比较有办法应对。
哪天真的战争来的话，那就可能会有更多的有那种经验可以去应对。
And despite the extended training time, these combat drills are meant to help prepare conscripts as best they can, with the aim of leaving the future of Taiwan in capable hands. Patrick Chen, Sam Hui, and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is owed billions of dollars in weapons it has bought from the United States, weapons that could be crucial in any defense of the country. As part of a special series on defending Taiwan, Hemi Okan reports on how policymakers in Washington are working to resolve the backlog.
Taiwan, a vibrant democracy in the heart of Asia and home to more than 23 million people, is under threat. The island nation has to warn off Chinese warplanes and military ships operating around its territory on almost a daily basis. These missions are seen as practice for what Beijing says is its ultimate goal, taking control of Taiwan. For decades, China has threatened to invade Taiwan, which it claims as part of its territory, and it's been modernizing its military so it can do so quickly.
So right now, the only attractive scenario is one in which they don't really have to engage the United States. They take Taiwan quickly before the United States can come to Taiwan's aid. And that only works if Taiwan's military cannot defend the island for a few weeks.
To try and make it as difficult as possible for China to even attempt an attack, Taiwan has spent tens of billions of dollars on weapon systems from its largest ally, the US. Beijing spends almost 12 times more than Taipei on defense and has a much larger military than Taiwan. China has 11 times more soldiers, 6 times more fighter jets, and double the number of warships. This leaves Taiwan with little wiggle room on how it spends its defense budget.
So in order to be able to secure its, its territory, protect its national security, it needs to be really smart with its investments and sort of getting the maximum dollar out of each investment into defense.
But while Taiwan continues to boost its combat readiness, the country is facing a dilemma. Over $19 billion worth of weapons and systems are delayed. These are all purchased from the US, its largest weapons provider, and some of those purchases go as far back as 2019. They include systems like battle tanks, drones, rocket launching systems, artillery cannons, hundreds of missiles, fighter jets, and the list goes on. These delays are linked to supply chain issues caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine, and limitations in the U.S. defense industry. Delegates from Taiwan's defense ministry recently traveled to Washington for security talks with industry leaders and urged them to speed up production. Speaking to TaiwanPlus, they say they are confident that the backlog will be resolved.
那美方对于这个所有军售的部分也成立一个专案的编组，来优化它整个一个军售的一个程序啊，是不是由专人专责来做一个协助，来做一个有效的管制？我相信在我们台美双方协助共同合作之下，有关军售这一部分呢，应该可以达到我们所期望的最后。
As the country waits, there are concerns that the failure to deliver these weapons could give China an advantage in any conflict. And it's a challenge that policymakers in Washington are aware of.
I think what we're seeing now is a recognition that the challenge and threat that China poses to peace and security in Asia is evolving, and US policy is evolving as a consequence. And it's the responsibility of our community, in cooperation with the US government, to evolve with it.
The weapons backlog is a problem that could be the difference between war and peace for Taiwan, and one whose solution ultimately lies in the hands of policymakers in Washington, not Taipei. Devin Tsai and Hami Okan for TaiwanPlus.
A former Taiwanese baseball star who was banned from match fixing has been found dead in China, aged 43. Zhang Zhejia has been hailed as one of the best pitchers produced by Taiwan. He shot to fame at 21 with his performances for the national team at the 2001 Baseball World Cup. He then went to Japan, where he became a star player for the Seibu Lions. Zhang returned to play in Taiwan's league from 2008. But a year later, he was implicated in a major match-fixing scandal and was banned for life from playing in the country. Zhang was reportedly playing softball in Shenzhen in southern China before his death. Local media sources say he died of a heart attack at home. Italy is world-renowned for its food, and now it's forging ahead with a new kind of restaurant that's being hailed as a barking success. Louise Watt has the story.
This restaurant in Rome doesn't just serve regular diners. It doubles as a gourmet restaurant for dogs. Each table has seats for the owners and a basket and bowl filled with mineral water for their pets. And it's a choice menu for the canine customers too.
E vengono preparati, diciamo, dal macinato di manzo, il maiale, il pollo, il merluzzo, poi ci sono le verdure, le carote, zucchine vellutate e via discorrendo, che poi vengono composte insieme e creato il piatto.
The chef at Futo restaurant prepares the dog's dinner in a separate kitchen and says they rarely turn their noses up at his mains or desserts.
È un crumble di biscotto con ricotta e mela verde.
The dogs lap it all up.
Umano.
Prego.
Grazie umano, avevo proprio fame.
The restaurant has spotted a business opportunity in the Italian capital. Dogs are increasingly considered not just a pet, but a member of the family, going wherever their owner goes.
Diciamo che se io trovassi il principe azzurro farei anche un figlio. Nel frattempo ho partorito lei 2 anni e mezzo fa e quindi tutta la mia vita, il mio amore e le mie attenzioni sono dedicate a lei.
Dining out can bring social benefits for the dogs too.
Abbiamo avuto una serata dove 2 cagnolini hanno trovato l'amore, quindi erano 2 maltesini, un maschio e una femminuccia, e si sono scambiati i padroni il numero perché si sono piaciuti veramente tanto.
The dogs appear to view the gourmet meals and experience of dining out, even if under a table, positively, giving Futo and its chef a resounding paws up. Luffy Lee and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out this vibrant rice paddy shaped like 2 magpies in Taichung in southeast Taiwan. I'm Sandy Chi. Take care and see you next time.